A blade flashed in the light. Two figures moved, their motions a dance of deadly grace. This was not merely a fight, but the culmination of a blood feud, one that had spanned generations.
On one side stood Yelv Qi, a martial artist of both incredible skill and profound honor. Facing him was Wanyan Ping, a woman driven by a desperate, burning need for revenge. He moved, and with elegant precision, not brute force, he masterfully disarmed her. He had proven his superiority without causing her a single harm, and yet her spirit was anything but defeated.
Rather than accept defeat, Wanyan Ping chose what she saw as the only honorable path left: death. Her entire life, her very identity, was woven into this single quest for revenge. And just as the cold steel grazed her skin, the very man she had sworn to kill, Yelv Qi, leapt forward and stopped her hand.
Her resolve did not waver. Even after he had saved her life a second time, she made her purpose clear. This was never personal, it was ancestral. His kindness, his honor, none of it could erase the river of blood that flowed between their families.
And so, to offer her a path forward that was not her own end, Yelv Qi made an incredible vow. He spoke with solemn purpose, limiting himself. If she could ever become skilled enough to force him to use his left hand in combat, he would offer her his life without complaint. It was a measure of his character and a deeply dangerous promise to make.
As Wanyan Ping departed, lost in her quest, she found she was being followed. A mysterious young man named Yang Guo approached her, introducing himself not as a warrior, but simply as another heartbroken person. He had sensed a kindred spirit in her deep sorrow.
He claimed he could take her weapon without using his hands. And then, he did. He dodged beneath her blade, used his own head to strike a pressure point, and in a move of pure, shocking ingenuity, he opened his mouth and bit down on the steel. Just like that, the blade was his. It was unorthodox, brilliant, and utterly disarming.
Yang Guo then made her an offer. He would teach her 3 moves. This was not a lesson in how to overpower Yelv Qi through skill. No, this was a strategy designed to turn her opponent's greatest strength, his unshakable honor, into his greatest weakness.
The plan he laid out was a psychological masterpiece. First, a wide, sweeping slash known as clouds over the mountains. Second, a grappling move called withered vine on an old tree to lock his weapon hand, forcing a stalemate. And the third move was not an attack at all. The final step was to turn the blade upon herself. The entire trap hinged on one belief, that Yelv Qi was too honorable to watch her die.
Armed with this strange and dangerous new strategy, Wanyan Ping returned. This would be her final attempt. A challenge not truly of martial skill, but of moral character. Everything rested on Yang Guo's audacious plan.
But just as the duel began, a voice cried out from the shadows, shattering the silence. The entire trick was exposed. It was Lu Wushuang, who had been traveling with Yang Guo. She had revealed the trap, and in an instant, the plan seemed to be in ruins. Despite the warning, Wanyan Ping did not hesitate. She committed, executing the first 2 moves perfectly before holding the blade to her own neck. Yelv Qi was now facing an impossible choice. He knew it was a trick. But could he stand by and watch her die just to uphold his vow? His life, his word, her life, everything hung in that one silent, frozen moment.
He made his choice. He reached out with his forbidden left hand and stopped the blade, breaking his sacred vow in order to save her life.
He accepted the consequence without a moment's hesitation. Tossing her the blade, he offered his life. But his sacrifice had a profound and unexpected effect on Wanyan Ping. Faced with such complete integrity, her lifelong resolve for revenge simply shattered. She could not kill this man. She let the weapon fall from her hand and fled, overcome.
Yang Guo found her by a moonlit stream, distraught and confused. The purpose that had driven her for so long had vanished. Seeing her pain, he did not offer comfort or advice. He offered a shared sorrow. It was then that Yang Guo revealed the true depth of his own tragedy. He spoke of his own past, a story not of a known enemy but of an unknown one, a quest for vengeance with no target. He confessed the deep, unending loneliness he carried, and in doing so, built a bridge between their 2 griefs.
His vulnerability reached her in a way nothing else could. Her heart ached for him, And she saw him then, not as a clever trickster, but as another soul lost in a world of sorrow. In that quiet moment, a true emotional bond was formed.
Overwhelmed by the emotion of the moment, and seeing a reflection of his own lost love in Wan Yanping's eyes, Yang Guo pulled her into an embrace. But as he held her, he whispered another woman's name, Gu Gu, his name for his master, his love. It was a beautiful, tragic, and deeply confusing moment, and it was shattered by an unexpected arrival.
Suddenly, they were no longer alone. A girl dressed in green appeared with terrible news. Lu Wushuang had been captured, and before they could even process this, their most dangerous enemy appeared, the deadly Li Mocho. The quiet moment by the stream was over. Now it was a desperate fight for survival.
In an instant, a chaotic alliance was formed. Yang Guo, Wan Yanping, and the new girl in green were suddenly joined by their recent adversary, Wuxia, and his siblings. Former enemies stood side by side, fighting together against the common, overwhelming threat of Li Mochu.
The battle was fierce, and the small group was on the verge of being defeated. But then, more riders appeared on the horizon. It was Guo Fu, the daughter of the great hero Guo Jing, along with the powerful Wu brothers. Their arrival and formidable reputation were enough to make even the ruthless Li Mocho pause. Seeing the odds now stacked against her, she made a strategic retreat.
But the victory felt hollow to Yang Guo. Surrounded by people with families, with allies, he felt more alone than ever. Misunderstood and consumed by his own inner turmoil, he did what he always did. He ran. He fled from everyone, seeking solitude high on the desolate, snow-covered peaks of Mount Hua.
And there, amidst the unforgiving cold, he had a fateful encounter. An eccentric, powerful old beggar found him weeping in the snow. This was no ordinary man. This was the legendary Hong Qigong, one of the greatest martial artists of his generation.
Hong Qigong, a famous connoisseur of strange foods, didn't offer advice or pity. He offered a meal, and not just any meal. Fried centipedes, a delicacy he claimed was best on this very mountain. It was a bizarre, almost comical moment of shared warmth that cut through Yang Guo's despair.
After their strange meal, Hong Qigong announced he would now sleep for 3 days and promptly fell into a deep, death-like trance. And just as Yang Guo was left to stand guard, 5 sinister figures appeared on the horizon, the very villains Hong Qigong had been hunting. With the old master asleep and his enemies closing in, the young hero was left to face the dangers of Mount Hua alone.